What's up, degenerates? Mad Merrigan here for Cold Bear Sports, and as always, joined by the man that can pick them, Mr. Value. How's things?
Very good, Pat. How are you?
Not a bother at all. Really looking forward now to the flat season getting going again. This Saturday, we're going to touch on Doncaster, lads. We're going to have a look at 3 or 4 of the races there, including the Lincoln. Always a tough race to find the winner of, but we will do our best. And then when we're done with Doncaster, we're going to head over to Meydan for Dubai's World Cup meeting. What a day's racing there. Some really, really top-class horses on show. So really looking forward to that. Joe, I'm just going to come to you first. The Brocklesby, 1:15 on Saturday. Few interesting horses in here for me. Ross Ryan has arrived for Ammo Racing. Persian Force, definitely an interesting one. And I thought Eve Johnson Houghton's horse for last time winning connections. They took this last year with a likeable sort. Anything standing out to you? I know it's first day of the season. I know it's hard to get them, but where are you leaning?
Yeah, the horse you were thinking about there, Chipotle, yeah, wasn't it?
Chipotle.
Won it last year. We went on to win at Royal Ascot. Obviously, that horse Blatant will be pretty forward as well, I'd say. There's a horse here that interests me. Bill Turner trains. He's a great record in this race. Know what I mean, Harry. But obviously, Persian Force as well that you touched on there for Richard Hannon. Hannon's horses seem to be pretty well forward. They're going well in the all-weather. And our friend of the show, Ross Ryan, he's riding it. So you'd have to be, there'd be, a 3 of interest. But as you say, first time out, first time in school for all these horses. It's a very interesting race and we'll learn a lot from it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just thought Ammo Racing coming in off the back of a good year. They really like to find a nice 2-year-old. They've been buying lots of, really smart ones that had some good runs with the likes of Go Bears Go and a couple of other ones that had a good mare. I can't think of her name now at the minute, but she won in Newmarket one day at the end of the season again. She started out her career with an impressive win, I think, in Wolverhampton on the all-weather. Can't just
was a lovely man or something like that, no?
No, I just can't think of her name, but she went on to win in Newmarket, but a really nice filly. And I just get the feeling Richard Hanning could have had a lot of horses to fire at this race. He's chosen this one, coming from a man that can ready 2-year-olds. His father before him was an absolute genius. Ross Ryan operating at a 30% strike rate. Top class jockey for top class connections. I'm sure they'd like to leave the ground running now into the 2022 flat season. So
Memes as well. Memes for 2-year-olds. They're getting last year they got a lot of early 2-year-olds as well. So it's very interesting. All right, Persian Force.
Yeah, no, they had a great run. So for me, I'm just going to nail me colours to Ross Ryan kicking off the flat season. With a nice type coming from the Hanning camp. Right, then we move on to a sprint, Joe. This is a listed race over 6 furlongs. There's a lot of money seems to be coming for the Charlie Hills horse here. And then there was an interesting horse in this for me. However, he's not declared. And I see the likeable mare, Mo Salita, for Adrian Nichols in here as well. Tough enough race to weigh up, of course, first time out. What are you thinking, Joe? Is the favourite good enough? Well, on his past form, he's in and out, but he has snippets of good form. But I don't know if I'd rush in just yet.
Gareth, he Group 3 winner in France. I tell you, I'm pretty keen on him because I tell you why. Charles Hill's horses have been going very, very strong the last few weeks on the all-weather. This lad's well forward. And also, the jockey, Marco Gianni. This lads, is class. He's a jockey to really look forward to this season. I think it's going to be a huge season for him. As I said, Charles Hill's horse is going very well. This lad is forming the book, and I think he'll be really hard to beat.
Yeah, definitely interesting. He is, like I said, he has got that snippets of very good form. I thought Diligent Harry ran a big race one day when it was him and Happy Romance, I think it was, they fought out to finish. I just think only a 4-year-old definitely could be improving. Not a race I have a massive opinion on, so I won't waste anyone's time. But we are going to move on now, lads, and have a look At what time is this race? I'll just get it. Yeah, the Doncaster Mile at 3 o'clock. Now, what an opportunity this is for Chindit to really get he's been in with some very good horses, but I think this is it for him. Ross Ryan again on board, Richard Hannon again. They'll be disappointed if he can't kick off his 4-year-old campaign with a win, I'd say.
Absolutely. One first time out was a 2-year-old, one first time out was a 3-year-old. So he goes well fresh. As I said earlier on, the stable haven't had many runners, but whatever they've been running on the all-weather has been going well. Rossa Ryan, obviously, it's going to be a big year for Rossa. I'm finding it hard to see this lad getting beat. I think it's an exciting weekend for us, starting off Friday and moving on to Saturday. Hopefully, when things are going strong, I think this lad could be one of the main bets. Price provided, we'll see what price he is, price dependent. But anything around evens, I think, is fair enough for Chindit here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sick because I tell you, as you know, I always keep an eye on the flat, and he was 2-1 the other day in the anti-post market. And you know what? I missed the boat. Should have been on him. He's 4-5, 8-11 now. But I don't know. I never say odds on shots are value, but if he was around the even money mark, you'd be pretty disappointed if he couldn't win this race. At least
I agree.
8 out of 10 times, Right. We're going to move on to the conundrum. The Lincoln, a race many jockey likes to win, many owner and trainer. I see William Haggis's horse now putting on the claimer, Adam Farrier. He has won it before with the good horse, the chestnut horse that went globe trotting in the end then. But for me, I'm going to say Salem, very interesting runner. Now, I have seen they've given him a wind up, which is interesting. Ross Coakley, big day for him. This is only a 4-year-old, lads. I tipped him up when he landed a double for us one day in Wolverhampton. Now, he looks very, very good. However, his 2 impressive performances were on the all-weather. So he needs to transform that into Doncaster, but I can't see no reason why he hasn't. He ran twice on the turf. Yeah, didn't set the world alight, but sometimes just good horses take a minute to come to hand. And I think he's off 97. Now, he'll have to be as good as I think he is to win it, but I think he's very good. I see the 2 ahead of him in the betting. The Charlie Appleby horse, Modern News, and the William Haggis horse are both being claimed off. So they have a little advantage straight away. And another interesting one for me here, Joe, before I turn it over to you. Notre Belle Bet was in Ireland, was highly tried first time out or second time out, can't remember, kind of lost his way a bit. It's an angle I've told you a million times. I hate when horses are tried too high too soon. It kind of takes the spirit out of them. But new connections, 2 from 2 on the all-weather, and could be lively.
Could be lively, yeah. I was just looking at the ground conditions there. Good to soft in places, but they're given a couple of dry days. So I'd say it'll be fair enough for everyone. It'll be nice ground for everyone. Definitely, the last horse you mentioned there, very interesting. Darren Bunyan used to train him over here. Highly tried. But the one I like here is Modern News. And this is a jockey, this young Harry Davis, claiming 7. He's definitely one for the future as well, lads. He's taking a half a stone off this horse, which could be massive at the end of play, and as I said, the ground could be fair enough for everyone. This horse trained by Charlie Appleby, very progressive, and at around 9-2, 5-1, he gets my vote anyway.
Yeah, he's definitely interesting. And a quick shout out, many top claimers won this race in the past. It's been lucky for them. A friend of mine, Darren Egan, won it, I think, for Mark Johnson in the past as well, when he was a young lad back in the day. So definitely an interesting race. Just have a quick look down through anything else lurking. You see the likes of Irish Admiral. At one stage, he thought he mightn't be too bad, but I don't know if he has the mentality of a top horse. I think he needs everything to fall right from. But there was once or twice last year money came from. So just maybe keep an eye out for him, because he seems to travel well, doesn't really finish out that strong, but maybe a year older, a year wiser.
Yeah, fair call.
Stephen Donoghue taking the ride.
Yeah, first time out might be the time to catch him too. You wouldn't know, because he does, as you said, travel very strong. And that he did get a bit disappointing towards the middle of the season. Won a race that he was entitled to win in the back end, but he might be there at a big price. But as I say, Mother News is definitely the one for me. It's a wide open race, but I like Mother News has had a recent run as well. You know me, I like the ones that I know every horse in this now will be, they'll be ready to roll and all that kind of crap. But there's no substitute for having a recent race, in my opinion. And just if the ground does dry out and gets a bit tacky, maybe, I don't know, it might become.
For me, it's always a wide open race, but I genuinely think if Salem transforms his ability to the turf, I think he'll win, and I think he'll win. I think he'll win well. I think he could be a very, very good horse. I really do.
Interesting.
He just, for me, the way he won his last twice, he's clearly a group horse in the making. Clearly, I just think you just can't smash a field twice. You can't do it twice. No matter, even if you're a decent horse and you're above the grade, you'll win. But twice he just murdered them twice. You know what I mean? Like one run after the other. But it was on the all-weather. Right, we're going to move on, Joe, to the 320 and the Dubai Turf Group 1. This is over, I think, 1.1 miles. For me, an interesting runner in here, Saffron Beach. Now, I'm going to make a case for her in a second, but Joe Value, I'll let you take the floor. Anything standing out in here? I see the likes of Mo Fahed, who was a decent horse. The wheels fell off a small bit. I see the Japanese colt at the head in the betting, and I see Lord North as well. Look pretty good at times.
Yeah, he did, and he won over there as well. I think he's a fair price there. Frankie up, he's around 4 or 5 to 1. He ran well, beaten by a horse that we'll touch on later on at Linkfield there not so long ago. But Lord North, for me, he's a class act. He's a lethal turn of foot when he's on his day. I don't think he would have been 100% the last day. I think this is the main aim. And Lord North will do for me. I don't really know much about the Japanese horse, to be fair. You're guessing as level of ability. But we do know that Lord North is solid as to come at this level. And, Frankie booked there, he's a man for the big occasion. He'll do for me, as I say, at around the prices. But I won't be playing too hard now. I'll be just having an interest bet more than anything else.
Yeah, no, the favourite's a winner of a grade 1 in Tokyo. He also, I think, just won in a grade 2. But the reason I want to come full circle to Saffron Beach, I just get the feeling, I'm familiar with a few of the horses in here, and a lot of them are going to be ridden to take their time. She's just so simple. She can be right on the pace. She can be handy. And I just think Jane Chapel-Hine is a trainer I love. I've got some really good results over in the past. And she was very, very good the last day of the season. Really breathtaking. So I just think she can maybe control the race. The likes of Lord Mo Fahed, who else? Lord Glitters, Sir Busker. These are all horses that take a lead. So I'm just banking on track and position that Holly Doyle might be able to control the race and might be able to decide, when to go and when not to go. And the one thing this mare will do over 1.1 miles is really hit the line. I think this kind of trip, 1.1 miles is, she will hit the line in this race. So if she turns in up on it, I can see her running well. Right, let's move on to the Sheema Classic. What a race this is, over 1.5 miles. Well, a little bit further than 1.5 miles. I'll come to you first, Joe Value, because for me, I think I have the winner of this race, so I won't mention no more. Where does it lie with you here?
I like the Willie Haggis horse here, Alenquer. I was impressed with him in Linkfield. He put Lord North away quite easily, added another dimension to his game. I thought I had him kind of pigeonholed as a real soft ground horse early on in his career, but he really impressed me last time now. He's fit, ready to go. He's around 7 to 1, and I like him at that price, to be fair.
Yeah, no doubt, definitely a horse. You kind of get the feeling we mightn't have seen the best of him yet. Like, he had some really glimmers of some, really good form, and the stable always thought that he was, one horse that maybe they just hadn't got to the bottom of him yet. So he could step up a lot, definitely winning when the jockey clearly said he needed the run, didn't handle the track in Linkfield. However, for me, lads, I just think Bear wins. I really do. His turf form is just, his last few runs have been sensational. I tipped him up when he won at the Breeders' Cup, and I've never seen a horse come down the stretch. Now, however, he is going to have to pass 90% of the field to win. He is drawn in 12. He will drop in. But I did go through the race and I found a bit of pace. Authority will definitely go forward. And now, without a fight, the Simon Christopher runner, now that he's had his comeback run under his belt when he ran well, he will press forward as well. So as long as we get a good even pace, I just think Yabir is going to be too strong down the stretch, and he's got very accustomed to his new way of being ridden, with that, slingshot run. And I do see Godolphin have another horse here, Dubai Future. It is trained by Saeed bin Saror, so there might be no thing, but he might be used just to press the other couple as well. And I just think at an even run gallop, you're going to need luck and running, but I think Yabir comes home like a steam train and wins. That's what I think. And for me, probably my one of my best bets of Saturday.
He's after improving massively for the Geldon operation, hasn't he? It's amazing. I remember Bartman Goodwood last time he got put away by quite a decent horse, but you'd kind of have him saying, he's great, he's probably a grade 3 horse or that, Yabir, Stair. Actually, I was thinking, he might be bought and might go over hurdles with him at once. That's the way it was looking. But the Geldon operation has absolutely turned him inside out. And now there's no doubt he is a pretty top notcher. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and here's the other angle, Joe. He's only a 4-year-old. Like, this is what people don't realize. He could come out this year even better, because he was a slow learner. He was a little bit hot and cold at the start. As you say, got the Geldon operation, and wow, we have a machine.
Yeah, it's unreal. Different horse.
Yeah, for me, lads, Beer, I won't waste your time. I think there's a couple of good horses in here, but I just think he's going to be too strong and too knacky down the stretch. I think he's just going to quicken, where I can see, the rest of them are going to gallop home, but I can just see him, woof, and I can see he's turning a foot, being too devastating and snatched to win. Well, that's my angle. It might be wrong, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't run a massive one, lads. Right, we move on then to the World Cup itself. What a race this is. A horse in here that I'm familiar with, Life is Good. Had a nice bet on him in the Breeders' Cup. Very pacey horse, drawn in stall 1. However, he does have an extra furlong. The World Cup is 10 furlongs. Most of his winning is over shorter. He was very, very impressive in the Pegasus the last day. He didn't look to be stopping, warped a good field. And I think he's going to be the winner of this race everywhere. And then it'll just be the last maybe 100 yards where the pack might close him a bit. But I just feel, geez, he's very good, but it's going to be a long way down the stretch. What do you think?
Yeah. I want to take him on. He's 4-6, he's 4-7 or something like that. He's with, and that's it. Look, there's no doubt he's absolute class. He's dynamite. He has so much early speed. But if he misses the kick a little bit from the inside draw from 1, it's going to make things interesting, because Midnight Bourbon is going to be moving up on the outside, pushing it forward. Life is Good was brilliant last time, there's no doubt about it, but he did get his own way to a certain extent. I know his ability got him there because he's a brilliant horse and he was cozy in front and all that, and he opened up a gap. But you were saying there, I don't know how was he getting tired last time. He wasn't pulling away by any means. The jockey knew he had the race won. He was just coasting him home. The last furlong here is going to be very, very long for him. And you can say this Hot Rod Charlie. Well, I can say this Hot Rod Charlie coming at him very, very strong. He was only about 70% fit last time, they said, before he won. And I tell you one thing, it'll take a fair one to hold off this Hot Rod Charlie now, I think, down the stretch.
Yeah, see, I go through the race, right? And I can really agree. Hot Rod Charlie is going to come in here and he is going to hit the line strong. The only thing is I look through the race, right? And I see Hypothetical could definitely go forward, but that's stall 10. So he has to work hard to get to a horse that has gears to burn. I can't see Life is Good missing the break. I just see him pinging out, and I just see him pinging out from stall 1. And like I said, the race is going to be all over everywhere. Everyone's going to be bet everywhere. It's just the back end of this race. I remember the American horse that looked the winner here one day. he got ran down. The chestnut with the white face. Come on, going back a couple of years anyway. The big chestnut horse. I can't just mind his name right now, but he came over here anyway, and looked to be cruising, and then just got ran over as well. Now, the
Wasn't
problem.
Justified, no?
No, not Justified. No, before him, American. Oh, I can't think of his name anyway. Right, we'll come back to him in a minute. But when we look at this race, the problem is can they even put pressure on him? I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can put pressure on him. Now, Syed Bin Saror's horse, Real World, very good horse, but he missed the break the last time. If he could jump clean and land with a bit of daylight and no kickback, it would be interesting to watch him. But I just think when you come to these races, you know, the Americans, when they're bringing over horses like Hot Rod Charlie and Life is Good, I don't know. I think he'll be up against it. For me, I think he scrapes home and Hot Rod Charlie closes him all the way to the line. But I think maybe he just lasts out. And the only reason I'm saying that is because he has amazing gears. And the last day I watched back his rerun, the jockey was on the bridle going to the line.
Yeah.
And he had the Breeders' Cup Classic winner Nick's Go behind him. So
that's true.
You know, there's no Nick's Go in this race. You know, Hot Rod Charlie he's a very good, solid, you know, proper horse. But maybe this lad might just have too many gears for them. And I can see Hot Rod Charlie maybe forcing a tight finish on the line. Right. Before any other angle into it, Joe, can you give any other outsider a chance there in it? But for me, I think the Yanks with Irad Ortiz and Flavian Pratt, whatever they pronounce his name, I think they're going to fight it out.
Yeah, well, I think you've hit the nail on the head, you know, but I do like this Hot Rod Charlie. He's going to be powering home, and I'm hoping he gets there in time. Whether he does or not, like for me, the favourite's way too short, and I know he's exceptional early gate speed and that, but something might just have to go forward from the outside draw, and it could make it interesting. And for that reason, you know, might put pressure on him early on, and he could be very vulnerable, you know. So I'm hoping Hot Rod Charlie can stay within, say, 2-3 lengths of him, leaving the back straight. And if that's the case, it's game on. If not, your man might be just gone too far.
If Hot Rod Charlie turns in within 2 or 3 lengths, I'd say he'd get him. He'd probably get him.
Yeah, so do I. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on him being able, having just enough natural ability to stay within the 2 or 3 lengths. And then I think it's really game on. But it's a fascinating race. Absolutely. I can remember, like, you know, years and years ago, the likes of Cigar and all that, the big American horses coming here. And it always is a fascinating race. And I don't think this year is going to be any different.
Yeah, right. I just want to jump on the first 2 races, lads, in Meydan, just as a quick one. I really like the first 2 favourites. Chuck them in a double. Alan O'Feg, ridden by Tygo Shea. Second to Hot Rod Charlie the last day. No Hot Rod Charlie in this race. Drawn in stall 2, will go forward. And I think Tygo Shea could kick off what a big day's racing with a winner. And then the Appleby horse just looks a monster. Manabo, whatever you call him, Manobo.
Absolutely, what a horse he is, boys. Like, I mean, there's one there now that could put it up to any of them.
Yeah, he's going to be short, lads. But you might get 5-2 on Tygo Shea in the first, and you might get 4-7 on Manobo, something like that. Stick the 2 of them in a double, land running, and chuck it all on your beer there later on. Right, yeah. Joe Value. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Really looking forward to it. Just a quick look back at Cheltenham, Joe. What caught your eye, and what did you enjoy the most?
Do you know, it was one of the most enjoyable Cheltenhams I ever had, not just from a financial point of view. Like, it was very good, there's no doubt. We were a bit unlucky in patches as well. What did I enjoy most? I suppose, you know, the first day was great, you know, Constitution Hill, how couldn't you like that? Edward Storm was great for us, we were strong on him. I was strong on Maria's Rock in the mares. She won. I backed her 12s and 14s, and she returns 18s. So that was a great bonus. I felt sorry for Noel Moore and losing Ginto, you know, because he was coming there, he was going to win his race and all that. What a horse he was going to, like, anything he done. I know it's a saying, but anything that horse did over hurdles, it was nothing compared to what he was going to do. Fences, you know. He's just an absolute tank, and he was going to absolutely blow them away, I'd say. That was a sickener now. That really put a dampener on the meeting for me. But I thought, sticking on no more than horse, I thought Zana here ran a cracker when he was third behind Honeysuckle, and I really think he could be a staying hurdler to look out for next year. I think they might step him up to 2.5 mile in A3. They might step him up to 3 mile in Punchestown. Who knows? But I think he's 20 to 1 there now for the Stairs hurdle, and he'd be my long range idea. Obviously, I ploughed hard for the Gold Cup. Fantastic result for me. I was very strong on them all year, and so there were so many great memories. We enjoyed it, we celebrated it, and now it's back to doing what we do best, and that's pick winners, work hard, pick winners, and get the few quid.
That's what it's about. Yeah, for me, look, Cheltenham, I have to say, a top class race, and there was thrills, there was spills, there was the gallop on the champ. So I was a little bit sick, but you know what? I seen it coming. I think they just overdid it. And look, I'm not here to say Paul Townend and Ruby and all their tactics. They're sitting at home now, and they know they just overdid it on them. They went to the first, the second, the third, and I remember watching. Like, you have to analyze the sport as it is. You're not here. Take feelings out of it. Facts don't care about your feelings. I just feel like they were saying gallop on. He was jumping the first three a bit big, but that's because they were going quick with a long loose rein and just pressing them from fence one, rather than popping 2 or 3 and then starting to kick on. So to the naked eye, everybody thinks it's unlucky. For me, it was coming, whether it was 5 out, 4 out, 3 out. I just seen it coming, and it's, he'd be back. I just think on the day they went out to beat a good horse, but they took chances to do it, and therefore it just worked again. Nothing against the tactics. If the horse had pressed on with confidence over, 1, 2, and 3, but he didn't. He was hesitant to answer the questions that early, and then for me, I genuinely thought it was inevitable. Moving forward, another thing that really pissed me off was Paddy Brennan was in the stewards room at my banker, and he said, "No, I got no interference." I was like, "You got murdered." No, on a serious note, what sportsman, I have to say, and after the race, the minute I seen the interference, I couldn't believe it myself. There was a stewards inquiry. But Rachel Blackmore winning the Gold Cup, I really thought that was some performance. I just watched it back last night. The way the horse quickened up the hill was like he was shot out of a slingshot. So, just a very, very impressive. Corrick Rambler, a very good winner for us on day one. And I see him now entered in the Irish National. Could be very, very interesting. He's in the Scottish as well, but I'm sure he'll be a player.
He's a bit of a freak of a horse, isn't he? He's a bit of a freak. Like, he's some ability. Like, he's a little bit leery or jinky or kinky, whatever you want to call it. But my God, he has some engine, like, to do what he done. In a few strides, Paddy, turning in, you'd say, oh, he's getting there a bit all right. But next thing, whoomp, he has that kind of acceleration and staying power. He's a nice horse, isn't he?
Yeah, I tell you what he has. I've ridden a few horses like him. They're horses that you get going when they tell you they're ready to go. And if you put them on their head before that, you end up destroying your round. You know what I mean? So it's just let it happen. And then when 1 or 2 come back to you, next thing they latch on. And as I said to you and to anyone that listened, I said, if he's within 10 lengths of him turning in, he'll win with a trouble-free, as long as he had a trouble-free round, because that's just his style. So, I'd love to see him come over to the Irish National. I'd go up to watch him, and I'd go up to back him, and I'd give him an out.
You love him. Like, I mean, you're the chairman for that fan club.
But Constitution Hill, what a performance. I want to say a quick word on Sishkin. Absolute farce, I think. They said the ground stopped him. That's a load of bull. I think there was more to it than just the ground. He's a champion racehorse. You know what I mean? He could go 1.5 miles in that ground before there be anything. I just get the feeling that he got a bit leery, lackluster, which he has a few times before. But every time a horse gets away with being leery a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, then you throw them into a very competitive scenario, and then the leeriness, because if you ask me, Nico pulled him up when he was only about to start running, and all the experts can come out and tell me I'm wrong, but if he got 3 around the backside, he would have started running. He could have never have won, I'm not saying that, but you're on a champion horse in a champion race. I thought he could have tried a little bit longer, to see was there anything in him, because the horse it's not the first time he raced lazy and lackluster. The reason it looks so bad is because it was in a championship race. That's what people don't realize. They're all like Sishkin. Well, Sishkin done what he done many, many times, but you had Shackham Horse Wall going a million up front, a relentless gallop. So therefore, when a horse races a little leery, now I think he wasn't right. I think his spirit was a little bit broken from winning in King. I hope he can bounce back. I'd love to see him win again. Champion, what a champion. Take nothing away. And then there you go, Paul Townend giving the winner that day a genius ride, perfect ride, set out of the heat of battle. And the way he rode him and the way he won, he might well have won anyway. Because
I think he would have. Yeah, I think he would have. He looked.
And that was a peak. There you go. There's the other scale of it, from being, a little over aggressive on gallop on to giving the perfect, patient, beautiful ride. It's Cheltenham, it's trills and spills, and it's it's the big day. It's the cool head and the hot kitchen stuff. Anyway, Joe Value, we love it. We'll keep trying to find winners for all the Cold Bear Sports followers. Check us out, lads. Don't be shy to come, because the winners are on the way. And mark my words, there won't be a bookies with a pair of trousers after this flat season. We're going to keep them, Joe.
No, well, I tell you, if March is anything to go by, if we can keep it up, and we will improve on it, I know we will, but even like if you're talking about March, it has been fantastic overall, I think, anyway.
Oh, it's been a massive one.
We're just getting going, really. I think we're just getting going, please God.
No, back to the grind now. Really interested in the next few months. Like I said, lads, be patient. Let the flat season develop, and let's pick up on the trend.
Well, you have to be patient. There's no point pushing it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we were a little bit trigger happy, last while there in January and February. That's gone now. It's done. We're back on the bridle now, and it's going forward at a full steam ahead, as a fella says.
I can tell you, when we get 2 months into the flat season, I will be very trigger happy. 600 horses in the tracker for all the Cold Bear Sports community. Let's crush them. All right, Dubai World Cup Saturday. Also, lads, the flat season kicking off in the UK and Ireland. We didn't give a mention to Ireland. Sorry about that, but I just tend to have a more of an angle in England. Maybe, Joe Value, you might touch on Ireland in one of your days.
Yeah, I'll just touch on Ireland very quickly. The likes of, you need to be very, very careful with your punting early on, because you'll get these WhatsApp messages coming left, right and centre. Oh, this is the best Bulger has. This is the best 2-year-old Bulger has, or O'Brien has, and all this. And it's not the thing to be listened to. Just take your time, learn, watch yourself, listen to us, and we'll put you in the right road. Don't be minding them text messages that you get, because you'll end up, you're talking about bookmakers have no trousers. If you listen to all these fucking WhatsApp messages, you'll end up with no trousers yourself, believe me.
That's for sure. And remember, lads, the most important thing of all this year, the time for cotton is over. Good luck, Joe.
Good luck, all the best.